Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the December 11th, 2018 regular meeting of the Board of Education. I'm Kate Borninski. Thank you all for joining us tonight. I would like my fellow board members to introduce themselves, starting on my left.
Hi, Patty McCoy. Thank you so much for being here tonight.
I guess I'm the next one.
You are.
Hi, I'm Patrick Kehoe. Thanks for coming out this evening.
Hi, I'm Doug Brooks. Thanks for coming out.
We are down a few board members tonight. As everyone probably knows, Member Mullen has resigned, and her last day was yesterday. And then Member Crouch and Member Sidhu, they are both at another commitment. But luckily, we have 4. So, Ms. Merritt, would you like to introduce your staff?
Good evening and welcome, and what an incredible amount of positive energy we have in this room. It's always positive energy when students are present. So I thank you for coming. You're going to make this a great evening. I'd like to begin by introducing my assistant, Miss Elizabeth Adams, and thanking her for taking the minutes, and also Charlie Jones, the man behind the scenes who makes sure that he captures these meetings for our members of the community that can't be here. So Charlie, get a great shot of the audience and our students here this evening. I'd like for the rest of the staff to begin by introducing themselves with Mr. Brandon.
Good evening, Nick Brandon, Executive Director of Communications and Marketing. Welcome.
Hi, I'm Debbie Piaz, Chief Finance and Operations Officer. Thank you for being here.
Welcome, everyone. Liz Vartanian-Gibbs, Assistant Superintendent, Human Resources.
Good evening, Kurt Tiskwitz, Executive Director of Student Services.
Hello, I'm Mike Bender, Chief Academic Officer.
Welcome, Heather Colombo, President, Education Association.
Would everyone please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance?
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And the first item on our agenda tonight is the adoption of the agenda, approval of the consent agenda. It's action item 18-1240. Do I have a motion?
Madam President, I'd like to make a motion to approve of the consent agenda.
Support.
Okay. The motion was made by Member Brooks and supported or seconded by Member Kehoe. Okay, is there any discussion? Okay. Hearing none, Ms. Merritt, do you want to take us through the consent agenda, please?
Thank you. This evening, our consent agenda consists of human resources transactions since our last time together. Believe it or not, we are still hiring champions for our district. Also, we have for your consideration tenure recommendations for those teachers that have satisfied the requirement to gain tenure here in Plymouth Canton. Administrative replacements for the supervisor of elementary special education, the assistant principal at East Middle School, and the assistant principal at Plymouth High School. We also have the approval of the minutes from November the 20th, 2018 for your consideration, and the second reading of policy 7217, that is our weapons-free school zone policy, policy 7440.1, video surveillance, policy 7540.2, this is on the district webpage, and finally, an out-of-country field trip for your consideration this evening.
Okay. All right. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 4-0, because I think I've heard 4. I could I'll call for any dissent. Nope, that's what I thought. Okay, motion passes 4-0. All right.
Okay, good evening, everyone. First, I would like to introduce you to Chantal Martin. Come on up, Chantal. Hi, Chantal. Chantal is our new teacher at Pioneer Middle School, and she will be serving as a science teacher at Pioneer Middle School. And if you remember, at the last board meeting, we accepted the retirement of one of our teachers at Pioneer Middle School, and now Chantal will be taking her place, Katie Sterlitz. And Chantal comes to us with a bachelor's degree from Eastern Michigan University. So welcome. Great. So.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Chantal. Here you go. Oh, thank you. You're welcome.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Okay, at this time, I would like to recognize 2 fine teachers that are receiving tenure in our school district, which means they have completed 5 successful years of teaching or more. So our first teacher is Katie Green, and our next teacher is Lenore Wachowski. And I am going to read to you what the principals have said about both of these teachers. So Katie Green, who is a math teacher at Salem High School, here's what Kim Velaroso, principal at Salem High School, has said about Katie. Katie Green is an exceptional mathematics teacher. It is a true pleasure to observe her positive interactions with students. She does a great job connecting with each of her students and building a community of learners in her classroom. As she helps her students learn new math concepts, she is consistently checking for understanding and adjusting her lessons to meet the needs of her students. Katie is a valued staff member at Salem High School and the high school math department. Her positive attitude and energy are greatly appreciated. Congratulations, Katie. Lenore Wachowski is a 7th grade math and social studies teacher at Discovery Middle School. And here's what Terry Sawchuk, principal at Discovery Middle School, has written about Lenore. I am writing to you to recommend Lenore Wachowski, 7th grade math and social studies teacher at Discovery Middle School, receive tenure from Plymouth Canton Community Schools. Based on her performance during the last 2 years, Lenore Wachowski exhibits proficiency in the areas of human relations with students, staff, and the parent community, planning skills and knowledge of her content area in the Plymouth Canton Community Schools curriculum. Mrs. Wachowski has grown as a teacher during the last 2 years. She has learned to plan appropriate curriculum-based lessons that fit into a class period. She has worked with other staff members to ensure a consistent curricular experience for all students. Therefore, I recommend Lenore Wachowski for tenure. So congratulations to Katie Green and Lenore Wachowski on receiving tenure this evening in our school district. So next, I am going to introduce you to 3 fine individuals. We are very fortunate that the 3 new administrators will be joining us in Plymouth Canton Community Schools at the administrative level. So first, and I would like to introduce Miss Elizabeth McCall. Come on up, Elizabeth. So Miss Elizabeth McCall, she wants to be called Liz, so I want to say that right away. Yep, Liz, just Liz. So welcome another Liz. So she is our new supervisor of elementary special education. Liz has a bachelor's degree in English from Western Michigan University. She is also certified to teach K-12 special education and 6 through 12 English language arts. She has a master's degree in educational leadership from Eastern Michigan University, and she has served as a teacher, special education coordinator, and an assistant principal. So welcome, Liz.
Thanks.
So Liz, do you have a few words you would like to share with us?
I just want to say thank you, and I'm really excited to be a part of your district. This is kind of something I've wanted for a long time, to be part of Plymouth Canton Schools, so I'm really glad to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. So Liz, if you want to wait for your 2 other colleagues, and we will congratulate all of you at the same time. So Miss Saisha Jackson. Welcome.
Hello, everyone.
Hello. So Saisha has a bachelor's degree and a master's degree from Bowling Green State University. She is certified in K-12 special education. She has received her school administrator certification from Userlin College. She also is completing her special education supervisor program at Grand Valley at this time. She has served as a teacher, an intervention specialist, and an administrative intern. And welcome.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. I want
Hi.
to say thank you for having me here, and I am super excited, and I'm looking forward to working with the students, staff, parents, and community of Plymouth Canton, as well as East Middle School. So thank you.
Welcome. So, Amy Willecker Brown. Welcome, Amy. So, Amy currently works in Plymouth Canton, and she's assuming a new role, but let me tell you a little bit about her. So, did I tell you guys that Saisha Jackson will be the new assistant principal at East Middle School? Did I even share that? I am so sorry. I'm looking at my notes right now. Thank you for telling us that, okay? I want to tell you we're replacing these people. So Amy will be the new assistant principal at Plymouth High School. She has a bachelor's degree in music education from Eastern Michigan University. She has a master's degree from Oakland University. She is working on her administrative certificate at this time. She has served as an elementary music teacher, a curriculum coordinator for K-12 visual and performing arts, middle school orchestra teacher, IB music instructor, and the Arts Academy coordinator. So congratulations, Amy, and welcome to your new position.
I think everybody should be as lucky as I am to love the work they're leaving so much, but I'm really excited to, despite the fact that I'm totally heartbroken to be leaving all my IB Music and Capstone students, and I'm really proud of the work that's happening in Arts Academy. I am really committed to making sure that all of students at P-CCS have what they need to make and achieve meaningful learning goals, and I really think the Counseling and Growth Department is a wonderful example of making that priority a reality, so I'm really proud to be serving with them. Thank you.
So Liz McCall, our new supervisor at elementary special education, Saisha Jackson, our assistant principal at East Middle School, and Amy Willecker Brown, our assistant principal at Plymouth High School. Congratulations and welcome.
Welcome to the district. Welcome to East.
Joining us.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, Liz. So happy for you.
Thank you so much. I thought
Congratulations. So happy for you.
Great to have you.
Congratulations.
I wasn't actually able to hook up with you, so hopefully
So
we'll get that
happy of
figured
you.
out.
So proud of you. Great job, Amy.
Congrats.
I think those are all the champions for 2018.
We have a special meeting next week. We can more champions.
You never know. We might have a special meeting. We haven't voted on it.
Right, I understand. But then there's room for more champions.
Yeah, there you go.
So I think we are now at everybody's favorite part of the evening, celebrating success. And Member Kehoe will be the presenter. And we are celebrating the Plymouth Canton Educational Park Band and Music Program accomplishments.
Trying to pay up.
Yeah, you have to do better than that. So this evening, Celebrating Success will honor various accomplishments this year from the Plymouth Canton Educational Park Music and Band programs. First to be recognized is the Plymouth Canton Educational Park Marching Band for another fantastic performance at both state and national competitions this fall. The band finished third in the state, qualifying for Grand Nationals in Indianapolis, Indiana, where the PCMP became one of just 2 bands from the state to advance to the semifinal round. Next of note, the PCP Wind Ensemble was chosen as one of 40-plus applicants to perform a marquee time slot at Michigan Music Conference in Grand Rapids in late January. The group will perform 6 pieces, including an original composition from the 2015 Wind Ensemble as part of the Coalgrass Experience. We'd like to bring up Director of Bands John Thoman and Associate Director of Band Mike Wells to the podium to say a few words on behalf of these 2 excellent groups.
It's an honor to stand here again. We have unbelievable amount of support, unbelievable amount of students who are dedicated to music and excellence in education. I talked with Mr. Brandon earlier this week about this, and I might actually just get my whole speech out here if that's okay. I'm going to speak a little bit about what it means to be excellent and how that relates to our students and their dedication in the arts. The foundation of what we do starts in the classroom. And what I want to talk about right now is these five. We have 4 band students and 1 choir student who made the all-state band and choir honor ensembles. So it's an honor, like I said, to stand here. These 5 wonderful human beings, Anna Mueller, Matthew Milanovich, Cooper Ossio, Elise Kazmersky, and, I'm missing somebody. Nate Lewis, sorry, Nate. They work toward music, not just in the sense that we just have to do homework, right? They dedicate their time and energy to study, to create, to communicate, and to consume music as a means. Today, the P-CCS Board of Education, right, is going to present them with STARS Awards, and that's for their achievement as all-state participants, honorees, right? What does that mean to be all-state? Each one of our high schools at the park houses over 2,000 students. Fill one of those schools up, Canton High School, right, with 2,000 of the best musicians in the state of Michigan, all auditioning for one of those spots. That's a lot of students. And it's not just in one community, it's from all around, right? And so when we talk about them being exceptional, that word is intentional. The fact that they stood out among 2,000 of their peers across the state in a blind audition, it represents not just the 1 month that they had to prepare this music. It really has a reflection and more depth to it than that. It represents that moment when they took the instrument out of the case for the first time, produced a sound which was probably bad. It also represents that moment when you sang, right, and your voice began to soar. And it was in that moment that piqued their curiosity. Curiosity is vital in education. To me, it is the essence of human existence. We don't grow unless we're curious. And these students, they embody that, right? They've become curious not only through music, but it's music that has unlocked the other arts to them. It's unlocked humanity to them, and it's evidenced when you interact with these students. They're very well thought out. They're very concerned about their global society around them. They're not just selfish in the moment about them. They're much more mature than that, which allows them to express music at such a high level. This honor was not earned as a circumstance, right? It really is a means. And with that being said, it also represents the K through 12 music education that they have gained from Plymouth Canton Community Schools as the cornerstone, as one of those building blocks where it could have easily been squashed, that enthusiasm. It was fostered and cultivated by every single music educator K through 12. And with that being said, we now know that, or at least can emphasize and continue to acknowledge that music, arts education is not just an elective. It is a core value in Plymouth Canton Community Schools. And with that being said, we just want to acknowledge the efforts by these students as people who are elevating not just Plymouth Canton Community Schools, but truly elevating our society. And I'm very hopeful in a very concerning moment when I turn on the news that these students and students like them from our community are going to make positive change happen. More empathy, more expression, more understanding, more curiosity to understand life, and for that we are very proud to call them our students, and also really just honored to be in their presence every single day. So thank you very much. Anna, Cooper, Nate, Matthew, and Elise, would you like to all stand up and be acknowledged?
So some of my my words were just a little bit out of order here, so I just also want to take the opportunity tonight to honor Salem sophomore Elise Kazmierski, who's qualified for the high school SSA State Honors Choir. John's already spoken a little bit about that and her contribution, but this choir performs at the Michigan Music Conference in January, and Elise will have the opportunity to make the All-State Choir later in the spring. An accomplishment like this is only possible with a combination of talent, dedication, and passion, and for that we recognize Elise Kazmierski with the Students with Tenacity in Achieving and Reaching Success Award this evening. So, Elise, we have one for you and one for the others as well. And Cooper. Nate. So we're going to have all the recipients, and as well as Mike and John come around to shake the hands of the board.
Come on, bring it on.
Congratulations. 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 Good job. Congratulations. Good job. Congratulations. 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 Rolled now. Congratulations.
It's always about you. We know Kate. We know.
Thank you.
So then we'll actually, Nick will take the picture.
Oh, you can sing at the Christmas.
Where are we doing it next? Outside?
So congratulations to all of our wonderful students who were here tonight, and their families. We're going to go ahead and go to board committee reports. And first up is the president's report, which is me. So it's been kind of a busy time. This time of year always is, but first of all, I wanted to say happy Thanksgiving. We haven't been here since Thanksgiving, so I hope everyone had a nice and restful Thanksgiving. The last couple of weeks, I have been doing some board training for our newly elected board members, one of whom's here tonight, John Lazarowitz. And I also attended the swearing in of the new board members, so I was happy to be able to be there for that, which that was last week. Also, last week I went to East Middle School, and I had 3 different groups of students who interviewed me on a range of topics, some of which I really wasn't an expert on. For their C-SPAN projects, which I think are always really interesting projects. So I'm looking forward to seeing the results of their projects. And that's about it for me. Next is the Student Performance and Achievement Committee. And Member Sudu's not here tonight, so I will attempt to give her report. We did kind of a deeper dive into the assessment results, and just had a really nice conversation about assessment results for the district. And we also touched on the school's start times committee, got an update on that. We sent to the board for approval tonight a field trip request. And I'm trying to remember, is there anything else to add to that, Dr. Bender?
Yes, as part of our conversation, we explored some curriculum items,
Oh, you're right.
including benchmark assessment kits, which the board we're asking consideration in a first reading this evening.
Right.
We also explored the iQuest materials for our middle school science, and then a proposal which the board will consider for first reading tonight to expand the advanced placement U.S. government and politics course as well.
Right. Yeah, and the benchmark assessment materials I thought were really interesting because they're so useful to the teachers. So I'm glad they're coming tonight. All right. Next, we have the policy committee, and Member Crouch is not here tonight, but Member McQueen, would you be able to give that update?
Certainly. So we met tonight at 5:30, and our topic tonight, we were discussing the policy around naming and renaming facilities and buildings in the district. We just started with it. We have quite a bit of work to do, which we're going to be working on ideally a little bit over the break. And then our next meeting is January 15th, 2018 at 5:30 downstairs. Everyone is welcome to attend. They're plenty of fun.
It's the coolest meeting.
The best meeting ever.
Yeah, and I forgot to announce the next SPA committee meeting, which is set for Wednesday, January 9th at 4:30. And next is Finance and Operations with Member Kehoe.
The second coolest meeting. Wish I was actually missing the last one that we had last Thursday. So,
Yep.
Mr. Brooks, can you give an update? Because I think you chaired that meeting.
Yeah, sure. Well, that was a first for me to do that. But, yeah, we started at 4:30 on December 6th, and there was no public comment. But after approving the prior meeting minutes, we went over the presentation for the can liners and paper products bid results, and then also the custodial KPI quarter one presentation, and then at the end, the remaining bond project list. And it was a really good, enlightening meeting that we had.
Great.
Very good.
And we have another F&O meeting coming up Thursday, December 20th, 4:30 p.m. here in this room. Again, the second most exciting committee, and we encourage everybody to come and join us for that event. You know, we're trying for next year to make it the most exciting, especially since Kim isn't going to be on policy. I think we've got a chance.
Oh, I don't
We've
know.
got some new members, so they're exciting amongst themselves. So.
Challenge accepted.
Oh boy, no, I shouldn't have said that out loud.
And next up is the Educational Excellence Foundation report. And tonight we have EEF trustee Shakib Rahman here to give the report.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you. I know time's short, so I'll be brief. Let me introduce myself real quick. My name is Shakib Rahman, as Kate said. I have 2 kids. One just went through the program. He graduated from Canton High School. He's a freshman at University of Pittsburgh, and my second son is a middle schooler at East Middle School. I've been living in the township with my family for about 20 years now. I joined the EEF board about a year ago. I've really enjoyed it. There's a lot to learn. There's a lot of passion and dedication to the mission, and we obviously work very closely with P-CCS board members and staff also. So I want to give just a few bullet points on some happenings. The first one is a trial program from the Bosch Community Fund. As everybody knows, Bosch is a great partner of ours. This is an incremental activity where they wanted to get some teacher grants to look for innovative, exciting ways to teach children about STEM. And so this is above and beyond what they normally do for us. So we worked with them on the scheduling and the application and the judgment criteria. We worked with Mr. Magulik and Ms. McCrane on getting the word out to our teachers. And we were able to get 19 grant applications for this. We went through an evaluation process. Some EEF members evaluated these grants. P-CCS staff evaluated. University of Michigan folks evaluated. And finally, of course, Bosch made the decision. So 11 of those grants were approved, which is great news. So that's $16,000 going into the classrooms in January for these projects. So that's really good. Those teachers were notified today, I understand. So that's really good. So thank you to Bosch, thank you to the evaluators, all the teachers who made the grant applications, a really nice pilot program. The second thing is just a reminder of the community giving campaign. I think that's kicked off yesterday, and the due date is the 21st of December, so next Friday. So this is, donations can be given to the EEF or to the United Way. Please, if you've already donated or you plan to, thank you very much. The third item is a new a new fundraiser. It's at Jacob Matthew Jewelers on North Canton Center Road. So they have agreed to provide 10% of all sales to the EEF for sales tomorrow. So from 9:30 to 8 o'clock, 10% of all sales will be given to the EEF. So that's very generous. And our executive director, Gretchen Ward, is going to be the guest salesperson there. So it's 10% of all sales, not just what Gretchen sells. But so if anybody has any need to go there or any holiday shopping or just want to pop in, they are open from 9:30 to 8 tomorrow. And I think Gretchen has some handouts on that also. So in closing, just wanted to say thank you for your time. On behalf of the trustees and Gretchen, I just wanted to wish everybody a happy and safe holiday season and get recharged, and looking forward to working with you in 2019. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Shakib.
Kate, I'll leave the handouts outside. People
Okay.
can grab them when they leave.
Sure. And next we are at citizens' comments. Is there anyone who wishes to speak tonight? I didn't get any cards, so. No. Okay. All right. Then we are now at letter E, which is administrative reports and recommendations. And first up is the superintendent's report.
Thank you, President Morninski. I wanted to just take my time this evening to share a situation that we actually issued a joint communication today with the Canton Police Department involving a very suspicious situation that occurred at one of our bus stops today involving one of our students. Just with the communication, you could have more details, but most importantly, the young lady is safe, and I do want to share that, and that's something that we can be very thankful for. But this situation involved a car that approached one of our students at the bus stop. The student ran, the student screamed, the student made it home safely. We just want to take this opportunity to make sure that our parents as well as our staff take this opportunity to continue to talk with our students about safety issues, about stranger danger, because this situation did end positively, and we want to make sure that we are determined and committed to keeping our students safe at all times. So the information, as I shared, is more details can be found in communications that went home through email as well as on our website and issued also from the Canton PD. We would say if anybody has any details concerning this situation, to please contact the Canton Police Department. And at all times, if anything that is happening within our community, you see something, please say something. So just wanted to take that opportunity to share that information and just count on all of us to continue to be committed to making sure that we ensure a safe environment for all students.
Thank you. So next we're at teaching and learning with Dr. Bender.
Thank you, President Bornitsky. We are fortunate to provide STEM experiences K through 12 and CTE prime experiences at the secondary level to help students engage in deep learning and in the application of knowledge and skills. This evening we have a team of administrators, teachers, and students with us to share updates in each of these areas. Here to get us started is Canton Assistant Principal Montine Barbie.
Good evening.
Good evening.
We have a large team that's going to come up and sit up front. So that we can minimize the transitions as we speak. So again, I'm Montine Barbie. I'm the assistant principal and assistant principal.
Montine, could you make sure you're using the microphone?
I didn't even know where
It's
that
me.
came. Got it. Okay. Assistant principal and CTE director for Canton High School. I'm just going to ask everyone to introduce themselves as they come up instead of me running through the names now. So we're going to talk to you about 3 very exciting programs that elevate our students at P-CCS, the STEM Academy Prime, and I'm specifically going to address career and technical education. For career and technical education, we serve over 2,800 students across the park annually. Our goal is to ensure that our students come out of PSEP with all of the skills that they need to be successful in the future. So key to our CTE instruction is collaboration, communication, adaptability, leadership. We're working on building the professional and critical skills they're going to need for the future. So you're just seeing a slide of some of the resources that we have used. Students completing our programs receive industry-recognized certification in fields like computer graphic design, automotive technology, culinary arts. We also have several articulation agreements with post-secondary institutions. So when a student successfully completes our courses, they receive college credit. So some of what we're excited to share with career and technical education is what we've been working on for the past year and a half, almost 2 years. Last year, we put together a CTE improvement committee. So we worked with students, parents, community, and industry to get feedback on our courses. So we offer 30 courses in approximately 10 different pathways that provide students with a lot of choice within career and technical education. So one of the items that we've worked on this year is a suggestion we actually received from parents and students. They wanted pathways. They wanted a program of studies designed to help a student 9 through 12 and post-secondary in their passion or their field of expertise. So we have worked on putting that together and posting that for our parents and our students. In addition, we've worked on gathering some feedback from our current and former students on programs where we may need to enhance our instruction, our course offerings, curriculum changes. We really wanted to provide students in career and technical education with voice, so they were invested in their learning. Some additional feedback we got was specifically with regard to marketing. We did a tour with some parents, and we realized that not everybody knew what was offered and what was considered career and technical education. So we've made a commitment to increase our marketing efforts for all students, but specifically some targeted marketing toward increasing enrollment for what CTE describes as non-traditional students. That would be females in automotive technology, males in nursing, or African American or Hispanic students in computer science. So we've looked at doing some outreach in communities so that we could specifically ask students to be part of our programs and build a more diverse population within our CT community. We're super excited for some pilot programs that we're starting this year. I'm going to let Sil Aquilina talk to you about educational foundations.
Good evening. I'm Sil Aquilina. As she said, Educational Foundations is a CTE course. You may have heard it called Kitty Campus. We have the preschools at the high school. We are trying to strengthen our work-based learning experiences for our students and provide them with different opportunities with some older students. So Dr. Lilly at Field has agreed to be part of a pilot program this next semester where 10 of our students will be going out and spending their 2 hours of the day working with third graders who are struggling with reading. And we chose that because of the Read by Grade 3 law that goes into effect next year. We have a reading specialist that's going to come out and train our students how to work with those students effectively. We're very excited about this, and we'll keep you posted. Thanks.
Hello, everyone. My name is Heather Duff. Part of our vision for CTE is to foster collaborative efforts across departments. So what we have done is created a committee that we refer to as the C team. It stands for Career and Technical Education, ELA, Arts, and Mathematics. This committee has allowed for the opportunity for partnerships between teachers to develop lessons, units, or even an entire course collaboratively. In fact, we have just put forth a new course request to the instructional team for a class that we call Agile Development through ELA. And so this class would actually be co-taught by an English teacher as well as a computer science teacher, so collaboratively. We are also looking for more instructional coaching opportunities, specifically focusing on professional development with CTE and core departments. And if you take a look up at the slide overhead, it highlights some of the key events that our students are participating in this year. And these allow our students to partner with the community and experience authentic learning opportunities. Okay. Now we're going to hear from a few of our CTE student ambassadors who are going to speak to their experiences in our programs.
I'm Brooke. I'm a junior at Plymouth High School as well as Starkweather. So I attend both schools. I go to P-CCS in the morning for auto, and I also go to Stark for more of my core classes. So I attend 1 through 3 hours at P-CCS. I attend 2 hours of auto, which is the automotive block, and 1 hour of lifeguarding. I actually wasn't even supposed to be in auto. I just needed a math credit, and I needed an elective filled. So we looked and see what was offered, and it was auto. Auto was an option, and I was so afraid to be the only girl in auto and to be someone who doesn't know anything about cars and just put in a rowdy group of boys. But it turns out it's a lot more than that. I would call them family, mostly because I wasn't afforded a phenomenal family like most. And walking into that classroom, I knew I had that option because that is the family in itself. When I didn't have people to turn to, it turned out that auto was where I found those people. I got into auto my sophomore year. Freshman year, I kind of goofed up and not met many people. So I walked in sophomore year with a bunch of rowdy boys, but it turned out that those boys were worth keeping around, and if I needed anything, they'd be there. And it turns out that I wasn't the only girl. There were 2 other girls in my class as well, which was fantastic. But now that I'm in the class, and I have it for 2 hours, which I'm so blessed to have, school's no longer a job. It's something I look forward to. And I always say, if anybody ever asks, why do I get out of bed in the morning? It's auto. I hated cars. I knew nothing about cars when I joined. But now I'm interested in cars and pursuing it for a lifestyle. I never thought I'd amount into anything. And auto showed me that no matter who you are, what you can do, where you come from, you're worth it. And I'm going to turn it over to Chase to talk more about the auto program.
Good evening. Good evening. My name is Chase Leon, and I'm a Plymouth senior at Plymouth Canton Educational Park, and I attend the Auto 2 vocational class in Canton High School. I originally didn't take the prerequisite for this class, which was Auto 1, which is the basic and fundamental values of how cars and such work. And it was almost like a long shot that I got in. I didn't know anything about cars. I didn't really think of this as any pathway or anything I'd want to do. I just didn't want to pick 2 more classes, or 4 in another semester case. But I quickly found out that this is where a lot of my friends are. This isn't any kind of feeling I've had through high school, to where a lot of this is my family. These 2, I love them with all my heart. They're sisters to me. And I found out in this class that a lot of these people are brothers and sisters to me, and I love spending my time. This isn't a career for me. This isn't a future career, and this couldn't be for a lot of kids. But my goal is to hopefully advertise this to many other people and go to the middle schools and get this more known to people, because this isn't just a future career. This could be your passion, and for me, this is my family, and this is what I've worked for so hard. I've worked to find amazing people to where I spend 2 hours every single day with getting to know who they are and getting to spend my time with them. It doesn't make school for me any harder. It's nice to wake up and do something that I can enjoy and be proud of most of all. It makes school a whole new experience for me. And I want to share that experience with other kids too that in some cases suffer socially and have a hard time making friends. Because what auto does for me is make a family to where I see them every day. And I don't want any kid feeling like what I felt through high school. I want to share this experience with them.
Hi, I'm Ava Moulton, and I'm a senior at Canton High School. I switched, I went to Dexter for a couple years, and I switched in here partway through my sophomore year. And I was having a really tough time because I got kicked out of a parent's house and was just struggling to find my feet. And when I got to Canton, I had the option to take gym or auto just because they were whatever was left. And I was so nervous to take it, but then I fell in love with it. And then my junior year, I was able to use the CTE department to then take all the electronics 1 and 2, auto mechanics, and just really find stuff I was passionate in and found something that I felt like I could do. And now this year, my senior year, I'm in the advanced auto as well as dual enrolling in automotive electrical, and then next semester I'll be dual enrolling with automotive engines, automotive advanced electrical, and suspension and steering. So I will get the first semester worth of credits done for my associate's degree in applied science at Washtenaw by the time I graduate here. So I'm able to see and work towards an actual degree while still in high school, which is super awesome.
Hello, my name is Mitch Dillon, and I'm representing the marketing department. The marketing department here at the park is very unique, very different, and quite something that first going into it as a freshman, I was really skeptical. I didn't really know what I was getting my feet into, but luckily here as I'm in the advanced marketing program at Salem High School, I am very fortunate I stepped my feet in the right direction. With the advanced marketing program being so dynamic and different, it allows every student, no matter who they are, female, boy, girl, anything. The marketing program here at P-CCS is little to none, and you can always expect to find your feet in something that you love. And here at the park, we offer so many different aspects to our marketing program, from our advertising to our sales pitch programs to all different sorts of resources that will help you not only in the future, but as a student looking for a job, or even just your social skills with doing homework, finding friends. It's really changed my life, and I am very happy I stepped feet into the marketing program. Looking forward to my future. I'm hopefully going to apply to the university and further my academics in marketing. So thank you.
Great stories, thank you. Tanya McCrane is going to come up now to talk to you about STEM.
Okay, good evening. What a tough act to follow. First of all, I'm going to thank my colleagues for placing me here in the presentation. I am excited to be here tonight and share some STEM updates with you. And I do want to say it's always so good to hear the stories of the students. They speak to my heart, and I appreciate your stories. I'm going to share some updates with you on K through 8 STEM. I'm excited to share these with you. And if, here we go. Okay, so first of all, our goal is to build horizontal and vertical alignment as well as build connections among the 3 levels, the elementary, middle school, and high school levels. This year, we are again going to be doing the STEM days where high school STEM students will be bringing STEM activities into the elementary schools to build and spark that STEM interest in our elementary school students. And new this year, we are also going to be opening the doors of the STEM Academy in the evening and inviting elementary school students and their families to come in and see what we're doing in the STEM Academy up at the park and to participate in some STEM activities there and interact with some of the high school students. New at the elementary level, thanks to Bosch, is an elementary STEM coordinator, and our goal is to have every student experience coding activities before they leave elementary school. Also new at the middle school level, we received a bolster and equipment from Bosch, and in order to build what we're doing with that equipment, we're going to be implementing instructional rounds where STEM teachers will be able to visit classrooms and other STEM buildings to collaborate and to learn with each other and from each other. And we're excited about that. And that is that for wrap for me for this evening. Next, I'm going to hand it over to John Magulik, STEM Academy Coordinator.
Thank you, Tanya. Tanya, you were great, and I'm glad you were a buffer between me and the students. Makes me more comfortable now. But I just want to say, first of all, I want to start off by saying thank you for having us out here tonight. But the students, as they were talking, it made me think a little bit more and realize just how many things we have to offer at the park. And I'm so excited about it. We've got 6,200 some students there, and every student's an individual, and every student has their own pathway. And we heard about some pathways here. And here's just another pathway. So I'm representing the STEM Academy. I coordinate the STEM Academy at the park. And I want to give you a little background and then talk about some exciting things that we're doing. So the background, we have currently 2 pathways in the STEM Academy. The pathways are in engineering and the biomedical disciplines, and there are 4 elective courses that students take throughout those pathways. So we have 427 students in the biomedical pathway, another 338 in the engineering pathway. So there's quite a few students that are in the STEM Academy. Almost 12% of the population at the park is in the STEM Academy, and they've found their passion in what we're doing there. So that's really exciting to see. We do some really interesting and unique and exciting things, and I'm highlighting a couple of them in these bullet points here. But we have a STEM Student Council. And so one of the things I think is really important within the STEM Academy is that students have a voice. So we have a diverse population of students, and we really want all of them to be able to contribute and talk about what they want to see and where they want to drive this thing. And so we have this student council that helps us do that. The second point here is the mentorship and internship opportunities that we have for the students. I think it's important to not only get them good academics within the classroom, but to get them outside of the classroom. And so we really work on getting them into businesses and industry and in universities to get their hands on things. And part of that is with mentorship and internship experiences. For example, we have a Hella Scholars internship program where they actually give kids scholarship money after high school. They pay them to work there, and they guarantee them employment as soon as they're done. So they've identified our program as one of those programs that give these students a solid foundation and allow the students to succeed at that level. Next, we do have many, many specialized events and days that we go on. And so we take the kids out of the building, we bring people into the building, and that's what some of those points are focused on. We go to NSF International. During the summer, we send our kids to U of M Dearborn to do research experiences within the labs. We bring professionals in to teach our students different skills within the program, so they get more authentic experiences within those different programs. A couple of the unique experiences I want to highlight here are the alumni reunion that we have and the STEM Senior Showcase. I've worked really hard, and I've been doing this job now for a year and a half. I got into this position last year, and Danielle Ramos was before me, and I know she worked really, really hard at making this STEM culture a really solid culture. I mean, it really is, and the community is very, very tight-knit within the STEM program. And for instance, we have the second year now of doing an alumni reunion. We've invited all the students that graduated back. Last year we had 70 students come back who had graduated the program. This year I've got the RSVPs coming in, and I've got over 100 students already who have replied that they will be here next week. So really, really exciting. I think it's just a testament to what this program has done for these kids, and it's nice to see they want to come back and reconnect. The senior showcase is another way that we, again, invite alumni back in. They get to see what other students have been working on. The seniors in the program go through a capstone course. And in that course, they work on different projects. And at the end of the year, we want them to show those projects off. And so we invite, again, alumni back. We invite businesses in. We invite the whole community and parents. Last year, we got about 150 people. The year before that, we got just over 100 people. So this year, I'm expecting, as we keep growing and growing, to get about 200 people in, just to see what these students can do and give those students experience at presenting their project. I feel like we've been recognized locally as a great academy and a great program, but I also feel like now we're starting to get recognized more on the state level and national level too. So last year we were awarded the MySTEM grant from the Michigan Department of Education, just as one of the great programs that has some good initiatives going on. And then we also got recognized as a PLTW Project Lead the Way Distinguished School. And that was, there's over 10,000 schools within the PLTW system, and we were one of 300 to receive that award. So a pretty amazing thing that we accomplished there. Let me flip to this next slide here. So I think we're happy with where we're at as a STEM Academy, but we're never content. And I think that's the motto here at Plymouth Canton. We always want to do better, right? And we always want to achieve more and be greater. And so one of our new big initiatives, we've listened to businesses, parents, students within the area, and we've heard about a need for computer science, more computer science programming. And so we've worked really hard, and myself and the CT department are up in the same office now, and we've collaborated really, really well and tried to develop, get as much of a synergistic effect as we could going. And throughout that, we've come up with this program, or this third branch in the STEM Academy, the computer science branch. So Heather Duff's going to come up and talk a little bit more about that, and then I'll be back.
So this collaboration that John was talking about has allowed us to develop this computer science STEM branch with mostly already existing CTE courses. So we're introducing one new course next year that will be called Computer Science Essentials. That will be the 9th grade STEM class. As sophomores, students will take our existing computer science principles class. Once they are a junior, they will take Computer Science A, otherwise known as AP Java currently. And then ending with a senior capstone experience in our current cybersecurity course. John.
So, raise that a little bit. So next year, we're going to start this off with the first cohort of 32 kids. This is going to be kind of like our pilot year where we run these kids through the 4 years of elective courses. It'll be set up very, very similar to the biomedical and engineering pathways in that they take those 4 years of courses. So they get a really strong foundation in computer science. Then every year we'll add more cohorts as we go. This is going to have the same spirit, like I said, of the engineering biomedical pathways, and we've been working very hard with district leaders and the community members to form partnerships, and we've been sitting down and setting up meetings with different people to try to get these internships and mentorships and just connections with businesses and universities in the area. So we've made a lot of great progress, and we're really, really excited to roll that out next year. So I could talk about STEM all night, and I know that that's not the idea of tonight. I do want to pull up, though, a couple students that have some stories that they want to talk about. So I have Tyler Tish and Josie Zdun here from the Engineering Academy and the Biomedical Academy, and they'll just say a few words real quick.
Hi. Hi, as Mr. Magulik said, I'm Tyler Tish. I'm a member of the STEM Engineering, and I'm also a member of the STEM Executive Board for STEM Student Council. The reason I joined STEM is from a young age I knew that I loved to build things, and whether that was helping my dad with things or eating a concerning number of popsicles just to make catapults from the sticks. I just knew I loved to design and create, and from that I found that I had an interest in engineering. But another reason I joined the STEM Academy is because also with a school full of 6,600 kids for an 8th grader, that can be kind of daunting. So I knew it would help me be part of a smaller community. And over the past 4 years, that community of my classmates they've not only become close to me as classmates, but they've become some of my closest friends. And being part of this program not only gained technical skills that I would not already have had, such as coding or 3D modeling or using a variety of machines, but I also gained many opportunities to help my community. So I've been able to, over the past few years, be part of many STEM elementary days, be part of many STEM library lessons, open houses, just a lot of opportunities to give back to a community that I've lived in for all of my life. And I also had an internship opportunity. Last year I was part of the Vistion mentorship program for STEM. And over about 10 meetings, I was able to gather an idea of what it was like to actually work in an engineering field, and gave me an idea of whether or not if I would still like to go into that. But looking into the future, I'd like to study biomedical engineering at the University of Michigan or at Duke University. And I first gained this interest actually at a STEM career fair when I heard about a local parent who worked for a biomedical engineering company. And her company, they worked to make special wheelchairs and prosthetics for students with special needs. And because my sister has special needs, that really appealed to me. And from that, I looked into it more. And from my principles of engineering class, we learned about a wide variety of engineering fields. And that really helped me narrow it down to know that I'd like to study biomedical engineering in the future so that I can help others. So.
All right, good evening, everyone. My name is Josie, and I'm a senior in the biomedical pathway at the STEM Academy over at the park. I'm a Salem student, and I'm excited to be here to talk to you guys. So I can confidently say that joining this program has been one of the best decisions that I've ever made. I came from a small Catholic school. I came to the park from there, kindergarten through 8th grade. I came here, and needless to say, it was, a bit of a change to come to a school this big. And the STEM Academy right away offered me a sense of community and family. And everyone in the STEM Academy is, some of my closest friends. It's amazing. And so I joined because I wanted to be a neurologist. That was my thing. That's what I wanted to do. From a very young age, I used to go to the library and check out anatomy books and sit and look at them. And the brain has always been the thing that's captured my interest the most. And so something that's been awesome about the STEM Academy is that I've been able to learn about so many different careers within medicine and the medical field because it's embedded in our curriculum to learn about those things. So you don't have to be a doctor. You can be a nurse, a physician's assistant, a radiology tech. There are so many careers out there, and that's kind of gives you peace of mind. There's so many options for you. And so that was something that I really, really loved too. And we were able to learn about all the different specialties inside of medicine, whether it be immunology, cardiology, neurology. So it kind of helps you see what you like and what you might want to go into when you're older. And so I also love the way that the classes are taught here. You're not sitting at a desk for an hour having a teacher talk to you. Whatever you're learning about, you're doing. And that is something that is so, so vital for understanding the concepts that you're learning. For example, we've done gel electrophoresis, chromatography, the ELISA test. Those are all complex lab procedures that most people don't get to do until they're in college. And we're able to do them in high school. Not a lot of kids can say that. But we were able to do them and therefore have a deeper grasp for what the steps mean and what the results mean. So that's something that's amazing as well. And then also as well, the classes are great because you're able to develop your presentation skills and you're able to collaborate and work with your classmates to solve problems. And it's just, those are life skills that you need no matter what you go into later. And so throughout all of 4 years of my high school career, I decided that, yes, I wanted to be, the brain is still something that I've always been interested in. So I'm excited to say that next year I'll be attending Central Michigan University with a major in neuroscience and a minor in psychology. And I'm here to say that the STEM Academy has equipped me with all the tools needed to succeed in college and beyond. And for that, I'm forever grateful. So thank you.
I just want to thank the students, Tyler and Josie, and all the students for being here tonight. I know this is a late night for you, and you've been working hard in school all day, and thank you for being here. I'll turn this over next to Kevin Lane, who will come up and talk about our Prime Initiative. You got to follow more students, Kevin.
Thanks.
Hello, as said, I'm Kevin Lane. I'm the principal at Starkweather Academy at Fiegel. I'm here to talk a little bit about Prime. Real quick before I do have to say something about Brooke, our student that we share with PCCS. In addition to auto, lifeguarding, and her core courses, she's also an award-winning swing dancer. I saw video evidence the other day, so it was really cool to see. What Prime? What is Prime? And I know some of you found out a little bit last year. It's the Society of Manufacturing Engineers Education Foundation. Works directly with the schools to identify local industry partners and their needs. The partners through the Society of Manufacturing Engineers will provide equipment and training to Plymouth Canton Community Schools teachers. Then Plymouth Canton Community Schools will then, in turn, infuse these identified manufacturing skills into the curriculum. So we'll create new classes and we'll also infuse it into existing core classes, again, kind of adding to that marketing piece of CTE to give students throughout the curriculum, no matter what they're taking, an opportunity to identify those skills that they might find interesting that otherwise they might not have gotten any exposure to. It also enables students to earn industry certifications, a key word that was mentioned earlier, and exposure while still in high school and younger. Prime today, we are just getting started. I don't have any students because we don't have any students in the program yet, but very soon to come. We have 2 Starkweather teachers who received training in precision measurement instruments certification through the Society of Manufacturing Engineers and the Snap-on organization. We have adult education classes that will be starting in January in the evening, a couple nights a week. We've got some students enrolled in that to earn that certification. And also it will be part of their assignments for some of their other courses that are during the day at Starkweather. And then we'll be supporting GED and high school students in earning high school credit and building their math skills in a practical, hands-on kind of way. Prime tomorrow. So what's next? After we get this class started, these PMI teachers will work with content teachers and district level curriculum teacher or personnel to infuse the PMI into high school classes and create a 4-year math class. So we'll have there's actually 6 certifications in the precision measurement instruments, and we'll be infusing different ones of those certifications into different courses. We're looking at science courses, the math courses, to infuse those certifications. And then also we're looking into creating a 4th-year math course that will include all 6 of those certifications that students can take with them to industry. And then the next steps. Currently, the Society of Manufacturing Engineers is meeting with the different companies and figuring out what their primary need for employees is going to be in the near future. They are going to then provide us at Starkweather a piece of equipment, industry certified, state-of-the-art equipment that we will be able to train our teachers on and therefore train our students on. And again, kind of go through the same process again, infuse those skills throughout the curriculum in different courses, possibly a new course that would focus on that piece of equipment and training and certifications in that equipment, and have those certifications and opportunities. We're hoping to get that started in the 2021 school year. And then also work to have summer and after school programs for younger students to be involved in this program, or for additional students that might not be able to fit that into their regular schedule or just want to do some exploration. And with that, Montine will come and wrap it up.
We just want to say thank you for the opportunity to come and share some highlights from our program. We do need to thank, we have an amazing team. It's really, these ideas stem from a fabulous group of people who support the students. We always say we make all our decisions in the best interest of students. And Brooke said, you know, I'm going to cry when I start talking about the family. And I said, that's okay, you'll cry. And then I'll cry. And then she didn't cry, and I did cry. So it's nice to know that's on camera somewhere. But thank you to the kids who do this for nothing more than a pat on the back and pizza. So if we could just give all our kids another round of applause. We appreciate them being willing to come and share their stories, and some of them have been to 2 different campuses, work, and back again. And actually, Hunter, hopefully we can bring him back to speak. He had a wrestling meet tonight. He just didn't get out on time. Also, Stella Bublitz back there is our CT and STEM office coordinator. She makes everything run smoothly and helps us get everywhere we need to be on a daily basis. So we're very fortunate to have such a wonderful support, and our administrators and central administration, but Mr. Hurd and the other principals at the park have really just given us an opportunity to continue to explore and risk and see where it goes for the kids. So we just want to thank everybody for the wonderful support that we've been given to explore new opportunities. And so we have a little highlight reel. You'll see some of these faces, and a highlight reel of part of what we've done in the past and some of the fun things that we were hoping to do more in the future.
Thank you very much. Are there any questions from the board? Member Kehoe?
So first, I just want to thank you for the fantastic presentation and seeing the students speak. I went to school here at Plymouth Canton, and when I was there, it was shop, and I took plastics and electronics and all the classes that would be considered classic CTE classes, and they really provided a fantastic foundation for me in what I've done in the rest of my life, and I think that I got all of that from those programs that are here, and I'm really excited to see the district continuing to make additional investments in this area. I think it's fantastic that those kids find a home and find their cohorts in that process, and I think this is just a great program that we're doing. So I really, really appreciate that. I do have a couple of questions. You mentioned the opening the STEM evening for the elementary schools that we're doing as kind of that showcase for. I think it was Tanya was talking about how they were bringing an opportunity to let the elementary school kids get exposed to the STEM lab at the high school. The one thing that I think is a little bit missing is doing some of that exposure for the middle school kids. A lot of them are and I think this is a struggle that we have in the district as a whole, is that if you end up being in band or choir or those other classes, you don't oftentimes get the exposure to these things like the STEM programs. So finding opportunities across all the grade levels to get people exposed to those fantastic programs would be great. So I hope we can do the same thing for the middle school kids that maybe didn't get a chance to take the STEM classes, but still might be interested in that.
Yeah, and we've been talking about that. A couple of the initiatives that we have right now, we actually go to the library, and they invite students from middle schools in the area to experience STEM programming and different STEM activities. But something else we've talked about are some summer camps that we're thinking about doing.
Fantastic.
We've applied for some grants, and we just don't have those solidified yet, so I haven't brought them up. But it's definitely something that's on top of our minds and we're working on.
Great.
Yeah.
So the second question I had is probably for you, John, as well,
Sure.
or maybe Ms. Duff. The comp science program that you're doing for the CTE, it's a 4-year program. Is your pilot only for the 9th graders, or are you doing a small pilot for each grade? Because
No,
it wasn't clear when you guys described it.
Sure, I'm sorry. Maybe I wasn't clear enough about the pilot's not. I think I just used the word pilot. It's our entry group.
Right, so you're
pilot
only
might not
doing
be
the
right
9th
word.
grade cohort.
Next year, we're starting the 9th grade, and then those 9th graders will become 10th graders. We'll bring in another 9th grade class. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
And
I
then,
know
so
that
every year
there's
there'll be
kids
new-
that have been peripherally involved in those programs, and they're really would love to be able to join midway through. But I know that you don't. it's hard to do that in a
Well,
4-year.
let me say this, though. We do have these classes already at the park. Most of these classes, one of them is going to be a new class at the park, and that'll be the 9th grade class. So
Okay.
the students that are there still have the option to push into a computer science principles or the AP Java or the cybersecurity. Those
So-
are present right now.
So I guess towards that end, for a student that's a junior this year, would they have an opportunity to do a capstone project in their senior year as part of this process?
So they'd have the opportunity to take the cybersecurity class, and in that class, we're still working on what that capstone will exactly look like. But
Okay.
yes, that class is there, and it's just always being adjusted. Right now, they have opportunities to get industry-recognized certifications and take different tests and compete in different programs. But we're going to tweak it to have it set up a little bit more of a capstone project.
Great.
that
So,
they work on.
so just to make sure I recap my understanding, you'll have a really formal program that you're starting to launch next year for a specific computer science STEM academy. But for students that are taking those classes now, they'll be able to kind of join that in the middle. They may not get the full 4-year experience, but they'll be able to participate in some of the great work that you guys are doing there.
Correct, and I think, let me just talk real quick about the idea of these pathways. It says students that have a passion in that, have a place to go to make this commitment to go through those 4 years.
Okay.
So there are students that might say, well, I just want to take these last 2 classes, or as a junior, I want to come back and take the freshman, sophomore class, and that's open. I don't know, do you have more to say on those points at all?
The all of the classes will be available for both the STEM Academy students as well as just the general population student. So there will be a 9th grade cohort class of 32, hopefully moving forward next year, but then there will also be opportunities for sections separate from that for individuals not in the STEM Academy, and then they can be taken out of order, you know, following prerequisites, of course, but yeah, so they'll be both kind of going at the same time.
Okay, great. And the last comment I have is really the struggle that I see with the number of prerequisite classes that we have for students. You know, when I was there, I didn't have as many required classes, so I was really able to take advantage of a lot of the diversity that we offer at the park. And I think that it's really tough for students now that, you know, you have so many required classes that you have to take that they don't get a chance to take as many things. So I don't know whether there's things that, I know we can't necessarily change the state standards, but, you know, creative ways that we could give kids more exposure to this, I think would be fantastic, because I think it really helps to create really well-rounded students.
So I can speak just very briefly to that. One of the opportunities you have within career and technical education is to exchange coursework. So automotive technology, some of our computer science programs, they count for a world language credit, your second world language credit. So there's flexibility, and we utilize that with our counseling staff as much as possible for students, especially, you know, Ms. Steph mentioned the computer science pathway. One of our conversations in terms of the computer science STEM pathway and then our computer science program was to grow both programs simultaneously, allowing students to maintain that opportunity but also but also introduce a new pathway. So again, they can math credits, a math experience, or 4th year marketing counts for your a math experience, your 4th year math credit. So there are ways to keep things open for students to pursue their passion at the same time they're meeting the Michigan Merit Curriculum.
That's really good. I'm glad to hear that.
Other questions? Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Next on our agenda is considering approval of a resolution to adopt a course term change for advanced placement United States government course. And I think Dr. Bender briefly mentioned this. So this is about the AP government class, U.S. government class at the park. It's the first reading tonight, so are there questions on this?
This is being done in surrounding districts. Is this the new standard that everybody's moving to?
Well, that's correct. Districts are taking a look, like ourselves, are taking a look at this as a result of the College Board increased expectations, yes.
And is this only for the AP class? Is there a regular U.S. government class that?
Yes, that's
and
correct.
that will
Yeah.
stay as a semester class?
Stay as is, yes.
Okay. And again, speaking of the requirements for students, does this end up pushing, what have students historically taken against the government class?
It's really a variety of coursework. It will extend into the full year, of course,
Right,
and so
but-
we will have to examine in terms of the implications of that. But there's just a variety of courses that students typically take.
So there's
as a
no
result of
there's no typical pathway that people take?
Right.
There isn't a typical pathway? There's normally someone would take,
Right.
they take, is AP government, is what year do they normally take that?
That'd be that senior year.
Okay. And then is there a typical class that they would have taken in the other semester in the senior year?
I don't have that with me this evening, but we can certainly.
If you can get that for us, because it's ultimately, this is going to push that class out, because we're not giving them another semester of class time.
Yes, that's correct.
So it'd be interesting to know what are the classes that are likely to be affected by this, by going to the full year. Not that I'm against it, I just want to understand the implications of it.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of different one-semester social studies classes.
Yeah, I'm
they
just
can
curious
take,
what
yeah.
because they're not going to be taken anymore, so.
Well,
At least not
if they
for
take
this population. So it'd be interesting to see the data on the students that take AP US government right now. What is the class that they take in the second semester? The number of students in those classes, because those are likely to be affected.
And we'll provide that.
Thank you.
Mhm.
So, and I brought this up at SPA, and I just want to make sure that because we're making the class into a two-semester class, that we still have the same number of slots available for students if they choose to take it.
Yeah, because we'll have to double the number of slots
Sections.
potentially, which plays into the story of the other classes, and are those other teachers certified to be able to teach the AP US government class, and yeah.
Okay.
I'm wondering if I could speak to that for just a
Sure.
moment. So, good evening, everyone. Good evening. So, in the conversation surrounding the AP government moving to a full year, I had conversations with both the current teacher who teaches AP government for the half year, as well as with the administrator who oversees social studies to make sure moving wasn't going to have unintended implications that we wouldn't want to happen, right? So please know that this was a large conversation that was had prior to bringing this to your attention. So there might be some students, because it's a year-long course, they might not want to take the AP government. That, of course, we had that conversation. So although we have 4 sections right now of AP government, it is possible, because of having the longer year, she might need to move to more sections, because she would have really 8 sections that she taught across the year. Now she might need to do 5, but there might be some students who choose not to take the AP government, who might have during the time frame just because they want to take the AP course, but now moving into a year-long, it might not be something that they want to do because they don't want to go into that in college, or it's not a poli-sci thing for college. In speaking with the administrator who oversees social studies, they can well absorb additional students into what their current FTE is, and also make adjustments for a regular AP government class, which might now have more students. So those are all considerations that are already taken. As far as other districts, there are a few around us, but this would be, we would be a little bit forward thinking and making sure that we're hitting what we need to with AP government. This is something that's new for this year that is being rolled out, and in looking what the requirements are, we want to make sure we're giving it due justice and enough time for our teachers to be able to teach that content well.
I think I saw in board notes that it's Northville and Ann Arbor are.
There are
both,
two. There are
are-
two around us, and
yeah.
those are the, yes.
Those are the
that's
ones
correct.
directly adjacent to us that
Correct.
are doing this already.
That's correct.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? Okay. Next, we're considering approval of a resolution to purchase additional benchmark assessment system kits for elementary schools. And this is another first reading. Again, this was discussed at SPA.
When are these kits, when would they be used in the school year?
So typically with the students in kindergarten through second grade, the assessment is administered 3 times a year, fall, winter, and spring. For our students in grades 3 through 5, all students are administered the assessment in the fall, and then teachers make decisions in the winter and spring in terms of assessing those students as well.
So when is,
January right now,
Right.
so we are.
Yeah,
in
January is
emergency
the
to
next
get this.
so
winter
then why are we, can
assessment.
we do this as a first and final? If-
We would love it if you would.
Because
we-
rather than we have the kits in place and, I mean, if you're not doing this again until next fall, then I don't have any problems making this a first reading, but if you're gonna need them in January, then can we make this a first and final and then, move this, so that you get the kits and we have everything procured to support the
That would make
winter?
a lot of people happy.
Okay.
Okay, so,
Thank you.
I guess we could do that. We will need an action item number. I think it- 42 or 41? 42, okay.
40, I'm sorry, 41?
42.
42, I'm sorry.
Okay, so we are considering approval of a resolution to purchase additional benchmark assessment system kits for elementary schools, a first and final reading. Action item 181242.
Madam President, I move that we consider approval of resolution to purchase additional benchmark assessment system kits for elementary school. This will be a first and final reading. Action item 181242.
Second.
Okay, the motion was made by Member Kehoe and seconded by Member Brooks. Is there discussion? I think we kind of already had it. All right, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 4-0.
Thank you.
Definitely will have a lot of teachers happy, so thank
Yeah,
you.
I mean,
Heather said.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
appreciate
if,
Okay.
yeah. there's-
Next is finance and operations, and Ms. P.S.
Thank you. Tonight we have with us Rich Welsh, our Assistant Operations Manager, as well as Jason Donasis from GRBS to present the custodial key performance indicators through the first quarter of this school year. Mr. Welsh.
Good evening, Board. How are you? So today we're just reporting back on our first quarter of the new school year, which would be September 1 through November 30th. And it's a combination of comparisons of quarter 1 from 2017, quarter 2 2017, quarter 3 from 2017. A couple of the highlights, we have fully implemented and transitioned to a much safer and more economical chemical system for every building. We are on round 2 of the new wax in all of the buildings. We have about 9 buildings left that will be getting the new wax this school year, or this summer coming up. A lot of positive feedback from that. And then overall challenge of this this quarter with the job market and challenges that we have gone through and have tried to deal with as best we can. I'm going to turn this over to Jason to talk about the hiring baseline, and then I'll be back.
Okay, so last year we had looked at the district had made an initiative to increase wages for the custodial team, which made an immediate impact and really helped just to establish some consistency through last year. It's not unusual for us to see some fluctuation in the fall. If you look at our past numbers, the fall is a normal time where we have some change in staff. This particular fall, we had a unique situation in which, just in general in the job market, we have a situation where with unemployment being as low as it is, under 5%, the surrounding immediate area, basically with Livingston County, Plymouth, Northville, Birmingham, all of that, you're looking at unemployment rates more in the sub 2s, like 1.7 was the last time I checked. So extremely difficult to recruit and hire. not only for us as the custodial contractor, but I know that a lot of different service areas in particular have experienced it. How that specifically impacted us this fall is that one of these services that is utilized to do our screening also struggled with some staffing challenges, caused some significant delays in that. One of the key things that we stand by is that no personnel come on site in the district unless they are fully screened and cleared. So when those, in the ideal sort of sweet spot, what happens is from time of conditional offer to time of final clearance, orientation, on-site training, our benchmark, our target for that is about 3 days maximum. That ensures that we retain that candidate will actually start and perform services in the district. There was at one point in September, pushing into October, where that was stretched to over 9 days. And so you see a huge number of hires that are in the system. A lot of that is strictly candidate churn. It's people that were hired that went through the screening process, but by the time that screening was finalized, that candidate is already on to a different job. One of the biggest challenges, it's been a actual strength we've used for a long time with the ability to electronically apply for a multitude of jobs at the same time. What that also means is our time of onboarding has to be sharp and quick, or they are off to other opportunities. There's also a big push more than ever with the accountability piece. So if you look at the categories that deal with things like staff behavior, wanting to do the work, performance issues, that same mantra also plays into that, where increased accountability, trying to keep people accountable for their performance in their work leads to them going, well, I can just walk next door and get another job. So it is a very interesting time for service providers in particular as we navigate through this job market. And it did, as you see as we go through the numbers, it did make an impact. I love to stand up here and talk about the fall numbers because they're typically the highest. For those of you who've looked at the numbers for our discussion in F&O already, unfortunately this time was not the case. And we'll talk about some of the specific issues as we go forward.
So the next couple charts are schedules, side-by-sides, walk-ins with GRBS team and one of our members of our team, whether it's a plant engineer or one of the principals or the assistant principal, and they go through a scale of rating. So areas of concern for us, anything over 10%, we really want to look at. If anything over 20%, we need to make an immediate impact right as quickly as we can. Thankfully, we didn't have anything over 20%. However, some of our scores did slide a little bit, and we're working on that presently to try to alleviate that and bring those scores back in. Looking at the entrance, glass free of smears, floor, carpet cleaned, floor clean and dirty, and something that has really piqued in interest this year, and it's going to fly right through this first quarter, is vents. And it's just a process of teaching people to, hey, look up as well too. So that was throughout the whole entire charts. In the restrooms, the vents again, mirrors clean and sludge, or mirrors clean free of smudges again. I'm sorry. Something that has been a positive this year that really wasn't shown through this is with the added person at each of the high schools. Really, the high school work order complaints that have come through about the restrooms being just a hot mess have really kind of calmed down quite a bit this year, or this first couple semester here. So that is a positive, and it's something definitely that we need to continue to work on. Corridors and stairwells, again, the cleaning vacuum wet mopped the floors, kind of hit a little bit of a negative. Again, the vents clean, positive, vents clean were another uptick again. In the offices, thankfully here we had all positive gains. This is where one of our areas that we've really excelled on and continued to try and get those scores lower. In the classrooms, again, vents, teaching people to look up. But if you look at a couple other, there is some growth here in the classroom areas that we're, continuing to trying to work on. Overall categories, if you look at everything, restrooms and offices have either stayed the same or gotten a little bit better. We've definitely slid on entrances, corridors, and classrooms as a whole. But this is definitely something, this gives us a starting space to try to get things back and work on that. And we definitely are, through training, through making sure we're eyes on the prize, and just trying to get people in the right spots so that they can succeed and make sure that they have the right tools.
So speaking on the work orders, as we presented before, Rich and I, both collaboratively, individually, Susan through the central maintenance office, anytime some communication comes in, I see her all the time giving instructions on how to log into School Dude and continue to push that as a communication. That is working. If you look at the comparison between May and November, again, we continue a trend of getting that communication into the work order system. So the overall number of work orders is much higher, not even specifically for custodial. Our custodial work orders are also up, but just total communication in general in the work orders is significantly higher, which is what we want. One of the biggest kind of upticks in the program, our largest growth in percentages for requests, and this specifically relates to we have now in the district several units which are electrostatic disinfecting units. They have kill claims for pretty much everything you can think of. And so when there is a high rate of illness or there is a particularly scary illness, things like norovirus and that sort of thing, what we allow for is a work order to be placed that says, hey, can somebody do a treatment in this room or in our school? We're able to get the machine there either in the afternoon or in the morning before students arrive, and basically just hit all the surfaces with this electrostatic disinfector, and just impact the illness piece very quickly. You can do the whole building within a couple of hours, and in a classroom, it might take 10-15 minutes to do the classroom, and every surface is hit. And within 15 minutes or so, students can be in the room. Everything's dry, and it's good to go. So we see a big increase in requests to do that. That's no problem, and hopefully it will help impact illnesses, attendance rates, and that sort of thing.
Also, too, if you look, if you're looking at comparing the two, the missed tasks, they're both 16%. They're, so it's not a growth of missed tasks. Really what happens is there's a lot of work orders that go in about requests, about asking, hey, I need you to move this. I don't want this anymore. Can we take care of this? So that is, substantial, whereas in May it was 23%. At the beginning, first semester here, we're at 29% of those requests. So, it is an uptick in that. And as he said, we're trying to work on the more knowledge we have, the better I feel the better job we can do at this. And then here's some more wows.
Yeah, so one of the pieces we are pushing too with the work orders, and that has also started to increase. In fact, I got 3 of them this week already from Canton. But it's communicating when things are going well. And so we do have a bonus program for that. It's called our WOW program that puts money directly in the custodian's pocket, rewarding them for specific behaviors. Whenever teachers, principals, any staff communicate that something is going well or there is a specific incident that was helped out, that gets bonuses back in the custodian's pocket. What's exciting about this for this year is despite all the challenges we've had, what we see is we finished the year last year with a total of 97 WOWs that were mentioned for our staff. Already first semester, we're up to 70. So a lot of positive feedback coming back into the fall, and it does still continue to come in. So I appreciate that. I mean, there's nothing that helps motivate our staff more than the people they serve telling them they're doing a good job. And so I really appreciate it. And they get not only that accolade, but the financial benefit of it as well.
So to wrap up, overall results have been lower this semester than they have in the past. There's things that we are definitely addressing, trying to work our way through. We are really focusing on restrooms, floors and fixtures, and then we ended up slipping on a couple other areas. In the classrooms, we were really focusing on floors. We're slipping on vents. We're slipping on dusting. There still are no categories in the 20% above. We are really, as I said, we've put new chemicals in, hopefully making sure that everybody's trained on these new chemicals and making sure that we're doing what we should be doing. It is definitely a work in progress, and it is with a continual change in people, not only people, but possibly also positions going from one building to another. That retooling, reteaching thing teaching factor is very important, and we're definitely trying to keep advancing that. And as I said, we will definitely continue to work at it.
Questions?
So I actually have a question for a member of our audience, Mr. Hal Hurd. Being somebody that represents the high school, are you seeing improvements in the bathrooms with the additional staffing? The scores aren't, please come up to the scores aren't reflective of it, but we don't break it down to individual schools. And I know that we added more resources, and I'm curious what you're seeing at the high schools.
I think it's still a work in progress.
Okay.
That we, there's still some attention to detail we need to make within our restrooms.
Okay.
I'm not a connoisseur of, have a restroom. I just kind of go in them and come back out. But
you would hear from
I do
from
hear
your
from other
te-
staff
from your
members.
staff members.
I
is
hear
that-
from other staff members about the level of cleanliness and things that they're more particular about that than I am.
Right.
So I think there's still a definite work in progress.
Okay. So we don't have an immediate benefit, but we're heading towards it.
I'm sorry.
What about like student bathrooms, student behavior during
Yeah, specifically, it's the student bathrooms where we added the additional resources. So it's not the staff bathrooms.
I see there's more attention to the student bathrooms than there was before.
Okay, that's
and so we still have students that I come in contact with that still, some say it's fine, some say that there's still some room to improve.
Okay.
I think in terms of the level of staffing, as we've gone to our staff meetings to get feedback, we have heard the acknowledgement that now we have a custodial staff member at each of the buildings that comes in every hour at passing time for bathroom readiness. And so there's definitely a change at the student bathrooms. We have heard the request, can we get that same attention at the staff bathrooms? But we are getting that feedback that the impact has made a difference. I think something that you shared earlier, there's been such an effort on the floors, and that we're using this kayak machine to really get the floors clean in the bathroom, and that's where you're seeing the uptick on the windows and walls, because there might be some splatter that they're not then paying attention to, and so kind of dealing with some of those issues, but have gotten that feedback that we're seeing some improvement based on the staff that goes in every hour at the student bathrooms at the park.
And Jason, when I look at the school dude results, both Canton's always been a high school dude population. They use it religiously for everything. But this last quarter, we saw Salem just jumped in terms of the number of requests and the number of things that were happening.
I can actually speak to that. We've
Please.
really pushed Salem to be more like Canton.
Okay.
And that has been a concerted effort by our department, by Susan Provenzano. Anytime that, because what happened before, it would kind of be circumvented going through a plant engineer, and sometimes we didn't get the whole story, or he wouldn't tell us, he would just take care of it, and we didn't know. So we really put the emphasis and put our thumbs to him, saying, listen, we need to have the teachers do this so we can have control, and we have.
You got the data.
Yes.
You got the data to make the improvements you need to do. I mean, on one hand, you want there to be the relationship with the custodians and the plant engineers so that they don't feel that, they build that collaborative relationship. But the other hand, if you don't have the data, you can't improve the process.
Correct.
And a lot of times what's happening with with Salem specifically is if Mike, who's the PE there, gets communication that there's an issue or that something needs to be taken care of, he will put that into the work order system.
Okay.
So that we're capturing. So Salem specifically, the work orders that are in there are a combination of actual work orders put in by the staff as well as Mike sort of documenting what he's taking care of throughout the day.
Okay, and then what about Plymouth?
Plymouth
So-
jumped quite
They
a bit.
jumped a little bit, but they're, I mean,
Quite a bit.
yeah, but they went from almost non-existent to having some work orders in there, but they're still not, I mean, the schools are roughly the same size, so you would expect that you'd start to see some movement there.
So Plymouth, the biggest concern I had in Plymouth this year, frankly, was in the pods, particularly C-pod. That was one of the places where that was a big spot of not having a stable person. Okay. So a large amount of the work orders, there's actually two things that happen. With Diane Robinson, who used to be at Plymouth, communicated with us a lot. We had a really good relationship directly with her. She's not there, so we've trained the new process to be the work order system. And a lot of these specifically are C-pod sweeping and mopping is the large majority of these.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. And then the last question I had is, what's our outlook? I mean, this is not, you've had some hiring challenges. Once you've gotten past the beginning of the school year, have things stabilized, or are we still in a bad situation?
We're in a much better place now. The main positional challenge was part-time. So what we had done previously, we built in sort of an internal sub-staff by having, so for example, an elementary school might have a 4 or 5 hour position, but no other further assignment for the evening. So if they wanted more hours, they could pick up work and fill in other buildings. What the job market really is looking for now is I just want stable 8 hours and I don't want to have to move around. So we're looking more at partner buildings so that I could be a full-time person and I work at Field and at Erickson. So I only have to go, a mile or so down the road, but I still get a full-time amount of work. Hiring them and designing the program more full-time based and less part-time is adding to being able to hire more quickly. Okay. So it's really, we're focused on the part-time and how to offset that.
Okay.
And the logjam is, hallelujah, thank you, kind of over. We're back to normal in terms of processing, so our hiring is more stabilized.
So the only thing I would ask then is just while we're going through this next quarter, if we can get an early warning if things are going bad.
Sure.
If you believe that you've got stability, then that's great. But if you don't, then just a simple update in board notes that says that we're still having problems, and that, because I'd rather have us talk about if we need to do something differently rather than waiting to see another quarter's results that aren't heading in the right direction.
Understood. Yep.
Okay.
Any other questions?
No, thank you for the presentation. Mike, you're not up here anymore. You're not in the hot seat.
We're giving opportunities to others
I love
in the
that.
department.
I really like seeing that. I like seeing that.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next up is action item 181241. Consider approval of the Goals Program Expansion Project.
And President, I move that we consider approval of the Goals Program Expansion Project. This is the final reading, action item 181241.
Second.
Okay, a motion was made by Member Kehoe and seconded by Member Brooks. Is there any discussion on this?
I think we've discussed it extensively before, so
We have. I just want to remind everyone that this came to us for a first reading on November 20th. So,
I appreciate the additional information that's been provided on the leasing program as well as the outstanding furniture quotes.
Thank you. All right. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion passes 4-0. Okay. Now we are, I believe, if I haven't lost track, at letter F, which is discussion, date for a special board meeting. We have received 6 applications for our open board seat. And
The application, is that the cutoff time?
those all came within the cutoff time.
Okay. I mean, just when was the cutoff?
Oh, it was yesterday at
Sorry,
4.
that's fine.
4
Thank
p.m. We did receive one that was late. And
Okay.
so, but all 6 of these were within the range. So we, because we have to do this,
Within
we have to
30
do an
days.
appointment within 30 days of the resignation, so we need to work on this. Otherwise, Wayne Risa gets to do the appointment. We don't want to do that. So, and I think I misspoke. I think it was actually 30 days from the last day. I'm not sure. We'll have to clarify that.
From resignation, yes.
From resignation, okay. So, yeah, so we need to get this done. And I am hoping that everyone is available next week. We need a little bit of time to be able to review the applications. So I want to be cognizant of that. So I was not thinking of having a special board meeting this week, but hoping to have one next week. Possibly next Tuesday, because we tend to keep our Tuesdays open.
And I have Tuesday available.
I'm good Tuesday.
Okay, I'm
What time are
good.
you thinking, 6? Can we start at 6?
How does that work for everyone?
It works fine for me, remarkably. So I need to make sure I block the time, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's worked okay for me.
Okay.
It's the 18th.
Yes. 6 p.m. Okay, so December 18th, 6 p.m. Special board meeting. I think we should also briefly discuss how we want the process to work.
Okay.
So the way we've done it in the past is we have allowed the applicants to have, 2 or 3 minutes to speak, maybe 5, depending on how many we have coming. Hopefully they're all available. And then after we hear them speak and having reviewed the materials that they already sent in, then we can narrow and do more in-depth interviews of about 15, 20 minutes each. So we could do it that way, or we could just interview all 6 and then vote.
I personally like the opportunity for them to give this their own, to speak themselves first, and then narrow that down to top 3 for additional questions or something like that. I don't know. I mean, isn't that what we've done in the past?
Yeah, we have done it that way in the past. Trying to think. Yeah, most of the this will be the 3rd time that I've been involved in an appointment. Unfortunately, seems like
I think that's the way it worked when I
right
was
yeah.
appointed.
It was,
I know.
Because there was 5 when you were appointed.
Right,
Yeah.
and then we
And then
narrowed.
narrowed it to 2.
2 or 3, yeah.
2.
Oh,
2.
2, yeah, it's myself and George.
Yeah.
I have those notes.
Yep. Yeah. And when we appointed a new I believe we had like 11 or we had quite a few, and then we narrowed.
3.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll do the same process that we did in the past. Okay.
And then the only thing I'd suggest that we do is I know that we had some problems in the past where people were confused about the time and where to go. So we should make sure that all of our candidates are clear about where that when they need to be here.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm sure.
It'll be a
We
little
will
different
take it.
because it'll be a special meeting, so I think at that time we had
I
done
think
it as
they've
part.
usually been special meetings.
Okay.
So are we sending our questions to you?
Yes, that was the other thing. If you have questions
Can
that
you
want-
share the questions that we've used in the past?
If we can find them, yeah.
Okay. That would be helpful.
Yep. And I want to be cognizant that one of the people who has put in an application is a NUPM, so please do not share any of your questions with her
Of
so
course.
that she doesn't have an advantage.
Of course.
Okay.
And so she won't be participating in the questions or the review or anything. She'll be as
Correct.
a candidate.
Correct.
Okay, got it.
Yep. Yeah. Okay.
How many questions, like for the 15 or 20 minutes? What was that, like 5 or 6?
I think it was 5 last year.
Yeah,
Last.
that's what I thought.
Yeah, so I think what we'll probably do is have people, if you have questions you want included that are outside of what we've done in the past, then we'll have to pick and choose. And for purposes of expediency, I'm thinking that Monica and I would be the ones choosing those, unless you have a really, really strong case for something.
Yeah, I think that the easiest thing to do is to share out, if you can, what questions were asked before. I was relatively comfortable with the process that we went through, so I probably won't have any additions.
Can you use your microphone?
I'm sorry, I probably won't have any additions, but it'd be nice to see the questions that we've asked before.
Yes, definitely.
I'm okay.
Okay. All right, so,
That's my questions.
okay. I'm sure you
Patty
will.
may have better questions, so.
She may.
I have lots of questions.
Yes. Okay, so special meeting December 18th, 6 p.m.
I'll get that communicated out.
Please. Okay, now we are at follow-up board
Oh, I have
question.
another question.
Oh, you have another question, okay.
So after this special meeting, are we having a board meeting, or it's all a special board meeting?
It's,
Will we,
it's
are
all
we-
a special board meeting.
okay,
But unlike the traditional special board meetings that are not videotaped, because this will include the interview process, we will have this meeting taped. And
Yes.
I do believe we'll do a celebrating success, also do some regular meeting topics
do
there.
have
That
some
would be.
regular
You
meeting
got some more
business.
celebrating success?
If we have you all together, if we can celebrate, it's always a
There's
great
always great
opportunity.
stuff, so.
Yeah.
And if we happen to find a champion along the way to hire, we may throw that on the agenda as well. We'll let you know.
Yep,
well, and just make sure the applicants understand, like what the,
Yeah.
what the night would look like. Because I know one year when there was a person, they didn't really understand that there was some business being conducted. They were gonna be expected to stay.
Yes.
So, you know.
We'll make sure that we clarify and have a short agenda.
I think we'll be doing the business first and then the interviews.
Oh, okay.
So we are going to have an agenda then.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
We will always have an agenda when we have a meeting. And I'm trying to think, there was one more thing I wanted to say about it. Oh, well. Let's see if I think of it. Okay, so, we are now at follow-up board questions. Letter G. Outstanding from before, we had the subgroup data, which we are going to be discussing tonight at our special meeting after the meeting. And then the charter school scores in our district, we got that. I did ask for some additional information about that because the students with disabilities data was not included. So that's sort of mostly resolved. And then the scores versus foundation allowance for benchmark districts, including social studies and science.
We'll provide that in a board notes. We haven't given you that yet.
I didn't think so. Okay, and scheduling of future presentations.
We've I'll provide that in board notes. I forgot to do that. We did update the board calendar. Everybody has access to it, so you can see it, but I'll give you an update.
Okay, yeah,
Can you
just
remind
a
us how to get
little-
access to the board calendar then?
Yes, Nick will help me with that.
If you,
Okay, because I don't remember how to do that.
We'll
so.
see, he
it's
will
through
res-
your Google Drive.
I'll reshare it right
If he reshares it, it'll come up at the top of your email.
Perfect, thank you, sir. I've got like 14 Google accounts. So.
Well, you have to be logged into your PCCS one.
Well, I know, I get that, I just,
I'd be lost without Nick.
And then look at share it with me. And then tonight, we had the information about the class that students would take in the off semester when they're taking AP US Gov.
yeah, so we understand the classes that are impacted by moving this to a full year and just the number of students that were taking AP US History now.
US Gov.
and- Sorry, AP US Gov now that were and the classes that they take in the other semester. And I think we've gotten some good data about that the teams feel comfortable with that, but it would be useful to at least to me, to understand the specific classes that will be affected.
Okay, are there other questions that I may have missed? No. Okay. All right.
You had asked a question about having enough teachers to do that, and I think that we got a positive answer on that, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I had asked it in SPA too.
Okay.
but I just wanted to make sure everyone knew that we had thought about that. Okay. All right. I would like to adjourn to a special meeting on the disaggregated state assessment results. Could I have a motion to adjourn to the special meeting, please?
Madam President, I make a motion that we move to the special meeting to review the disaggregated state assessment results.
Second.
Okay, motion was made by Member Kehoe and seconded by Member Brooks. Discussion.
Just a reminder for those in the audience that you're welcome to stay. This is still a public meeting. It just will not be part of the normal recorded portion of our normal regular meeting.
I'd like to point out that when you weren't here, I made sure I announced that,
Okay.
so everybody
Thank you.
knew.
Thank you.
Okay, all in favor? Oh, sorry, Member Brooks.
Yeah, I was wondering if we could take like a 10-minute break or a 5-minute break.
After we adjourn.
Yes.
Okay. All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 4-0. Okay, 5-minute break.